All right. So that's some of the things there that we're going to need to fix. And that comes with doing engine swaps. Anytime you do an engine swap like this, or in my case a suspension swap, that's not the stock engine. That engine didn't come with this truck. The stock engine for it's probably in a scrapyard somewhere, or it's a refrigerator. Probably, I'm gonna say the latter, probably. But let me just make sure and catch up with the chat. Hey, good luck on the 59. Hey, thanks, Big D. When are you gonna come over and work on it with me, dude? Snap, crackle. Same goes for you, and Prof, if you're here. When are you gonna come work on it with me? Come on over. I have a fridge full of snacks. So that's kind of what we're going to do with this today. I think something that I can do today that we can actually make some tangible progress is work on reassembling the front clip. Now, what's the front clip? On a truck like this, it's a body on chassis. So this has a frame, right? It's old school. I mean, pickup trucks are still built this way, but because it's more durable. You need a pickup truck to be more durable because you're going to be doing things that you're not going to be doing with a car, at least in the States. Other countries have utes, which are still cool. I like utes. Utes are sweet. So we can rebuild the front clip of this truck. We can at least put some of it back together. Now, the front clip is essentially the quarter panels or wings. I'm pretty sure that's what they call that across the pond. The quarter panels, the inner wheel wells, the core support, which is actually still mounted on the truck right now. Well, it's not mounted, it's just kind of sitting there. Gravity. So we could probably go ahead and mock that all up and, see if we can make some progress. It's by reassembling the front clip, we can actually, get some idea of we can take some measurements with the engine and see what kind of clearances we're going to have. I'm not too worried about front end, like engine clearance. That motor has been in this truck before, but it was on a different type of mount with a different type of suspension. So I'm not too worried about it, but it's still something that we can actually do, and we can actually make do some work on the thing. So, are we ready? You want to see if we can get this front clip back together? Yeah? All right. Cool. All right. Hey man, I know nothing about engines, so I want to know, is this engine powerful or fast? It depends on how you look at it, man. I mean, like, this is a big engine, so like, it depends on where you are in the world. If you're in the States, no, this engine's a dog. It's not powerful at all. That 302, probably makes, it's not good. Maybe 170, 180, 200 horse, maybe like 220, I think. It's not powerful, and it's old. But that's because of the heads and everything. Hopefully we can do a rebuild on the engine one of these days and get some better flowing heads for it, because the lower end of the engine, which has, they're not forged pistons. I forget. Cast iron? It's all cast iron down there. So, 2.3 liter EcoBoost. Yeah. Okay. Let's get sponsored by Ford, then we'll do that. But if I'm going to put a Ford engine, a Coyote's going in this. Which is good, because that'll bolt to that Crown Vic front end, because the Coyote is modular based, just like the 4.62 and 3 valves and the 6 point something or other V10. Because I put the Crown Vic mount in, it actually opens the door for putting different types of various Ford engines that the Crown Vic is designed to accept. The prime engine would be the 4.62 2 valve, which is 2 valves per cylinder. That goes into the police cars, the Crown Vic police cars. So I could put one in. We'd have to refabricate the transmission crossmember, but it wouldn't be too hard. Right now, I'm just until either A, this gets really popular, or B, there's a lot of tips, or C, we get sponsored by somebody. That's the engine that's going to go in this truck. It's really not negotiable there. What's the conversion from cc to horsepower, or you are being dumb? Cc is displacement. Horsepower is a measurement of, well, power. It's two different things. Multi, this is a 5,000 cc engine. So basically 1,000 cc's is 1 liter. So if you have a 980 cc engine, like the one we have in my summer car on the Datsun, that's basically a 1 liter. It's a 0.9 liter engine. That is a 4,900 cc. Actually, it's 4,990 cc engine, or 5 liter. It's a 302 because when this thing was made, it was called a 302. I tend to stick, I can do the unit displacement. That's not a problem. Just like in Kerbal, but I tend to, if it's an early muscle car and it has like a 327 in it, like if we were ever working on a Chevy or something, I would call it a 327. The technical displacement for a 327 is 5.3 liters, so kind of go with it, or 5,300 cc. It's a pretty simple unit conversion. Just screwing with you, buddy. The 2.3 EcoBoost is out of the RS. I know, 251, I know. Coyote's going in this thing if we're going to buy a new Ford engine, man. Seriously. 2.3 turbo. Get out of here. Truck's made out of solid steel, dude. It's not plastic like the RS, man. It's not light. It needs an engine with a lot of torque. Plus, for the street, this is just going to be a cruiser. You don't really need horsepower for the street. That's the thing. Everybody's like, oh, more horsepowers. Yep, the box said 10 horsepower. That's the thing about it. Torque is what you want on the street. You want to peel tires. You want to go fast. You want to accelerate quick. That's what makes a car fun to drive on the street. Horsepower is for top end. If you're building a car for the track, that's when you want horsepower. But you want torque. That's what you want. This engine makes, I don't know. I forget the torque spec for it. I've never dynoed this thing. I don't even know. It's a stock engine and it's never been rebuilt. Except for the top end shiny stuff that you see on the top of the engine right there. It's got a 4-barrel on it. I put a 600 CFM carb on it. It's an Edelbrock Performa with an Edelbrock dual plane intake manifold, some Ford Racing valve covers, and that's about it. I need to get some headers for it because you can't make the top end breathe and not make the headers breathe, or else you're not doing anything. Okay. Willing to buy an EcoBoost Coyote. Hey, Flyboy, thank you for the bit tip. Once again, I can't keep up with the bit tips right away because I have the sound disabled. I don't have any speakers because I don't want the speakers feeding back into the microphone. So, with that being said, I think, let's get into it. So, we're going to write up a list here on top of everything, so. I'm going to write up a list here. Let me just make sure that you guys can see all this correctly. Horsepower sells motors, torque wins races. You're right, dude. Absolutely. Okay, so yeah, you can see that just fine. The biggest thing on the list, I guess, would be engine. We'll call it engine placement. And we'll put a little box over here. Once the engine placement is good, make sure we'll do driveline geometry, which is it should be a kind of indentation on engine placement, but whatever. Because cars, just like rockets, are engineered to do a task. Some cars are over-engineered. Trucks, I would say, are over-engineered because they're going to be towing stuff. They're going to put more strain on the driveline because you're towing stuff or you're hauling stuff, which increases your weight. It increases the mass because you're carrying more payload. You know that the rocket engine has to work harder on a rocket if you have low TWR and if you have low TWR and a low specific impulse with high thrust, it's going to have to work harder. The engine will get hotter. You know what I mean? Same kind of deal with this. Anytime you have an engine that, doesn't have the torque for what you're trying to do, or you're towing something that's too heavy, you're going to put strain on the driveline. Or you're doing plowing if you're in the snow like me. cornets outside under a pile of snow. It's not cool. So you're gonna put strain on the drive line. So I have to make sure, I mean, I'm not gonna do towing with this. This thing is just to drive around. And honestly, if this takes off, I'll use it as a parts hauling truck. To get newer engines here for other cars. Wink, wink. So I'm gonna go down here and do front clip, mock up. That's what we're going to try and do today. I mean, these are the first three things that we're really going to need to. I don't want to do the first two, the drive line and everything, and engine placement, because that means taking that engine and putting it up on a hoist, and I'm not doing that by myself. Not because I can't do it by myself, but it's an old cast iron engine. That thing probably weighs at least 500-600 pounds. It's heavy. I don't want to mess around with that thing without somebody else being here, because swinging engine around. In my summer car, whatever, you can pick the block up. I can't pick that block up. Probably could, probably break something. And me, not the engine. So, I'd say let's get working on that front clip. Second here. Okay. Come on, you can bench press it. Let me see this truck. All right, Niff. Welcome. Here we go. So, we'll go into the split GoPro screen thing. I'm going to turn this camera over here, and I will move it. Oh, hold on. The wire's getting stuck on something. Give me a second. I'll move the GoPro back over to my other mounting point over here. There it is. And I think this camera should be good right here. It's missed, the door is not bolted on right now because there's some rot down here, but that's another story. Yeah, so we got multiple views, we got the truck. Let's get started, shall we? I'm going to grab this here. Give me one sec. The music and everything still okay, guys? Please tell me if it's not. I think it's okay, but once again, I can't sound check the music. I don't know if it's good or not, so you're gonna have to bear with me. Hi. So we'll get going over here. I'm gonna turn this, make sure this shot's all lined up and ready to go. There we go. Excellent. Perfect. Music is good, music is good. All music levels are nominal. Okay, so here it is. I don't know if you can even see it. You can, okay. So these are old. Those. Okay, so Freb is a 59 F100, and we're going to work on locking up the front clip. So the front clip would be wing pieces that go here, the inner wheel wells, the fenders right here, the other one, and the core support, and maybe some of the grill. That's what we're going to be working on. We're just going to do what's called a mock-up. They're all in pieces over there, if you can see on the other side of the truck. I have all four of the pieces, and then I have the bolts for them too. I just got to find my my bolt things here. Okay. All right. So let's get to work here. Put my gloves on. Music is a bit silent. Yeah, Tomasino, I don't want the music I don't want the music being too loud, just because the microphone is on the webcam, so it's on the webcam on the screen that's on the right of your screen right now. So I don't want to have the music drown me out if I'm far away. You know what I mean? Okay. So that being said, let's get to work. So the first thing that I want to do here is get the core support, which is this thing. It's called the core support because it holds the radiator core and a bunch of other things, headlights, everything. This is basically kind of just the mounting point for all the fenders and everything. And this is kind of the basis for the front clip. The front clip is usually from the factory as sub-assembly, so the front clip is assembled somewhere else and then made into the truck after, after when the truck's ready to go, when the engine and everything is in. I'm going to mock it up today just to check clearances and stuff around the suspension, because I had to cut holes in the wings to make sure, the inner wheel wells. I had to cut holes to conform to the new suspension. So I want to make sure that all of our clearances are good when we go to bolt this back together. So the next thing I'm going to do is get out my bolt patterns here and just knock a bunch of stuff over. So when I took the truck apart, I graphed everything. I do this a lot. So check this out. When I took it apart, I made a diagram on a piece of cardboard. I made a diagram on a piece of cardboard that documented where every single bolt goes. Now this is a truck from the 50s. There's bolts everywhere. This is just for the quarter panel. So I have more over here, and I labeled everything. So I knew when I went to go put this thing back together, we have everything nice and set up. Here, let me show you. Everything is labeled. Now you can see, I really didn't expect these to last too long. They've been configured. I put all the bolts in this in 2012 when the stream started getting big. So really didn't want them to be in the cardboard for this long, but whatever. Stuff happens. Life happens. A lot of you guys are like, yeah, I know. So the first thing I'm going to do is bolt the core to the frame. I don't know if I can get a good shot of it. Check it out. I'm going to move this over here like this and see if we can shine a light on the mounting point down here. I'm going to move this, pivot that camera down like that. Can you see this? Well, not that you guys can respond in real time. Let me just check the camera angles. Yeah, okay, you can see that. That's engineering right there. That's right. My summer car live. Yeah, man. All right. So from the factory, this thing came with these pad mounts. These are to dampen vibrations. I don't even know what this thing is. It's like felt or something. This is the original thing from like 59. So you can look at it up here. It's just a felt pad to dampen vibrations, I guess. So let's get this bolted on. We need to put a pad on the top and on the bottom. The bottom ones are already there because I had this thing mocked up, and then the mount bolt is a thread that goes into a captive nut, which is on this flange piece right here. So what I'm going to do is put this down here like this, get the bolt holes lined up, and I'm going to get my lights over here. I'm going to get the floodlights so you guys can see this a little better. That should light this up pretty nicely. That lighted up? Oh yeah, now we're talking. Now we're talking. I'm gonna move this camera back, the webcam. I'm gonna move it back a little bit so you guys can kind of see the whole picture. All right, ready? Let's do this. You can see the GoPro is there, but all right, so this needs to go in here like this. Too hard. You usually want to just get it mocked up. Okay, make sure you capture the thread. Did we get it? Oh yeah, gotta pull this up. It's all good. All right, now what about the other side? The other side. There's the pad for the other side. Make sure we get this lined up. Make sure we capture the thread. Okay, we can get the thread. So I'm going to take the top pad, which I have here, put that on there. I should probably replace these pads, to be honest, but yeah, it's all right. It's all right, I guess. make sure we captured those threads. We did. All right, so I'm gonna get my breaker bar out here and we're gonna tighten these things down. I should probably use this big ratchet. So the tool that I'm going to use to do this is an old school Cornwell ratchet set. This was Mr. EJ's. This is my grandfather's tools. This is my dad's tools. These things are insane. They're from the 40s. This is what I use to wrench. So let me just make sure that that's the right socket. It's not. Gotta go get another one. This thing is industrial, man. It doesn't break. Too small. I mean, too big. Gotta get a big. I gotta get a smaller one. Let's try a 3/4 socket. Bingo. Once again, in games like My Summer Car, you don't need to worry about this, but what I like to do is get this one tight and then go over to the other one over there and kind of just fasten them both down kind of tight and then torque them down. I don't remember the torque specs for this core support. I wouldn't imagine it to be too much. I'm going to try not to hit the core support that I just painted. That one's tight. Let's go down over here. Just make it snug. I mean, we're really just doing mock-ups. You don't want to tighten these down all the way because I might have to move them around for the fenders and stuff. You do have a little bit of play with these bolts, but that's on purpose. So when you go to mock the fenders up and everything, you make sure your body gapping is right. That's all I want to check out today, just to make sure that that's all good to go. So, now, you can see the mounts here and here. This is where the radiator would go. I have the radiator. It's downstairs in storage. I have to go get it eventually to check mocking clearances like against the front of the engine. Woo! Should look at a small pocket caliper. I have one, dude. Don't worry about that. Just gotta put this one back here. So once again, thank you for the bit tips. Let me go see if we can do a better split screen there. There we go. Just gonna do I'm just gonna change the split screen up a little bit, just so we have a little better of a view between the two cameras. Once again, thank you guys for the bit tips. I need speakers to hear when the bit tips come through. I don't have them. I don't have speakers because I don't want them feeding back into the microphone. So, sorry about that, shot is in frame. I don't have speakers because I don't want the bit tip noise feeding back into the mic. So I can't hear the bit notifiers. My bad. I apologize. If somebody hosts or if somebody, tips, my bad. My fault. Okay, so once again, you can see that part of the frame right here isn't painted. It's bare. Actually, I put like a coat of clear on this just so it wouldn't rust. This thing has been bare metal. Well, not bare metal, but it's been clear coated right here to make sure that it doesn't rust anymore. I'm gonna paint this thing when we're done with all the mock-up and everything. So, all right, core support is mounted. Let's just check the clearance on the front here. This is the bumper mount. Just gotta make sure that that's all fine and dandy. Looks like we bashed in the front a little bit there. Shoot. I think that was from, I think that wasn't from what we did just now. I think that was from somebody else that ran into the core support when it was not on the truck. Because I painted this stuff a little while ago. I had everything painted. You can see that the core support has all been painted, and so have the quarter panels. So the next thing that we're going to do is grab one of the inner wheel wells, which I have over here. This piece of fine and dandiness right here is a wheel well. It's steel and it's heavy. I don't know if I'm going to have this stuff on here, like if I'm going to put it on the final design. What the heck happened to this thing? Ooh, it's got a little bit of rot right there. That's not good. Yeah, it'll be fine. Great. Lovely. So we're gonna mount this up thing. We're gonna mount this thing up here. What I'm basically looking for, I mean, I rhino line the bottom of these things, but you know, if we're running a header or something, we might need to just take these out because we don't have the clearance between the inside of the wheel well. Oh well. This one goes on the far side over here. Not bad. Yeah, that doesn't look bad at all. All right, sweet, sweet. Just gonna change this camera up. I'm gonna move this kind of over here with the lights, so we have a little bit of a different camera angle here. That should be a little better. EJ Stan doesn't pay much for the truck. It's missing the engine. It's not missing the engine. The engine's right here. Look. See? It's right there. Don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Real fake trucks. Real fake trucks. You want a truck without an engine? Here you go. I don't think it attached. Yeah. Thank you. It didn't attach. Very insightful. So let me get my toolkit out. We don't need that big three-quarter driver. I gotta go get my tool. That ain't a tool, that's a dang brick. Oh man. This is just a standard 60-piece toolkit. I've had it for 10 years. Never failed me. It's Craftsman. Pretty good toolkit. So, get this over here like this. 5/8, maybe. I gotta figure out what bolts we need for this to work. I'm gonna take the GoPro camera. I'm gonna move the GoPro camera up a little bit. Okay, I need to figure out what I need here. Whoa. Double EJ. What does it mean? Hey guy. Wait. Hi. Hey. Okay, sorry. Excuse me. So we need to go into our diagram here and figure out exactly what we need. So this is the left front quarter panel. Left front would be this is driver's side. I don't know why I didn't just write driver's side at the time. That probably would have been a smarter thing to do. Okay, so I don't know. I can't read my writing. Whoops. I can't read my writing. That's not good. All right. No, it's not 5/8. That's not good at all. I can't read my freaking writing. I'm not going to say that I'm embarrassed, but I'm a little embarrassed. You should probably make sure you write this legibly when you do it. There we go. They're all 1/2 inch. So lower front connector, upper front connector, wheel well to core. I know where those go. That's the bolts to those. That says grill connect bolts, and this says front top. What does front top mean? I don't know what that means. Yep. Wheel well to core. All right, so it's these guys. Wheel well to core. It's gotta be those. I know there's 3 bolts for this thing. Nah. So those are the grill connector bolts. Lower front connector, I would assume, to the quarter panel. Upper front connector. Oh, I see. I see how I did this. And those are the top mounts, so it's these guys. Wheel well to core. These are the bolts we want. They should have, yeah. Oh, that's good. Just fall out, fan. Whatever. It's these guys. These are the ones we want. Why does that one have a washer on it, though? I don't know. Anyway, ding dong. Gotta get them out. Give me a second. Here they are. It's just a 1/2 inch bolt and a nut. Well, the only thing is, there's a lot of them. So let me go over to the chat here real quick. Gotta see who texted me. Who was that? Really, guys? Really? I'd honestly expect better. You're staring at my rear end? Really? 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 I expected better. I'm not gonna lie. But hey, Twitch chat's gonna Twitch, I suppose. Alright, let's get this stuff mounted, shall we? Okay. I'm gonna line up the pilot holes here. Get the 2 sets of sockets here. I need to find a 1/2 inch wrench here. Let me see. There's a 1/2 inch. There we go. Drop forwards. 1/2 inch wrench. All right. I'm taking this camera with me. It's actually stuck on the tripod. Why wouldn't it be? We're gonna go over here. Running out of line. That's great. Well, I can't really make the camera go all the way over here, but I'll show you the left side here. So that's a mount bolt right there, that's a mount bolt right there, and then there's another one that's down behind here. That's going to be the hardest one to get to. But we have 3 main mount bolts. That's for the wiring, the front wiring there. And I forget what that one does. This is the vent for the horn right there. The horn would be mounted right here. That's probably the horn mount bolt if I had to guess. And this is where the quarter panel will attach, up here and right in here in this area. See that? I already have some of this front. The front valence has been attached already. See that? Right there. So we gotta fix that up. But I can't get the camera all the way over there. So I'm gonna have to change it up.